Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Happy Monday. I hope you guys all enjoyed the weekend. If you were able to get up to St. James's Park either on Friday night or Saturday afternoon, I'm sure you've had a good weekend. 2 trips to St. James's Park in 2 days, 2 pre-season friendlies and 2 wins. Great results. I know the pre-season friendlies, I know we had quite a mix-up of the teams. I think for me, the Friday night was most likely going to be our starting defensive lineup, and the Saturday was more likely to be our attacking lineup, maybe minus Richie, maybe Almiron, but generally it looked like Eddie Howe split the teams between defence on the Friday, attack on the Saturday, but regardless, we won them both. I would say the Saturday game was the far more exciting game, mostly so because we had Bruno on the pitch, Joe Linton on the pitch, we had Wilson on the pitch, and we got a couple of goals as well. So, great games, and as I say, the support in those games was incredible. 40,000 on the Friday night. It felt like a European night. It didn't feel like a pre-season friendly when you think back to the Norwich game at the start of last season where we won, we scored a few goals, but the optimism wasn't there. The optimism was definitely there for 2 days in a row. 40,000 on the Friday night, 46,000 on the Saturday. You know, over 80,000 fans in that stadium across 2 days was tremendous. They obviously released the new away shirt for the 2 games coming out as well. The amount of people who were wearing them at the game who had got down early, queues outside of the club shop. I mean, yeah, it was a great weekend. And now, as we step into the Monday, this is now the first week of the Premier League as we take on Nottingham Forest this Saturday at 3 o'clock back at St. James's Park again. The Premier League actually starts on Friday night when I think it's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, isn't it, on the Friday night. So we are the second day, 3 o'clock kickoff, St. James's Park. I'll be there. I'll be videoing it as always. So if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. In fact, go and check out the 2 vlogs I did of the pre-season friendlies if you haven't already, because they were quality. And as we step into the first week of the season, it's very clear that Eddie Howe, Dan Ashworth and the club are looking to try and bring in a few players, possibly as quickly as in time for this weekend. I think that's what they're aiming for. I think they may struggle to get it over the line. Let's not forget that although the season starts this weekend, the transfer window actually goes on until the 1st of September. So we do actually still have a full month from today to get some of these transfers over the line. But there was a lot of rumours coming out maybe a week, 2 weeks ago that Dan Ashworth had really stepped up what he was trying to do. We saw him actually travel out with Eddie Howe to Portugal, and that was understood so they could have more time together and really concentrate on trying to decide on player types, where do we need to strengthen, and a lot of talk out there that Dan Ashworth was effectively going around getting these conversations started, and within the last 48 hours, 72 hours, the last few days, not only have we had 2 games, but we've been placing bids for players. Multiple bids going out on different players. We're going to go through some of them today. Obviously, nothing has been confirmed in terms of where the chats are at this very moment in time, but we have had confirmations that bids have been made. And as I say, I think it seems to me like we've gone out to try and get something done before this Saturday. As I say, the trouble is, and this is what Eddie Howe said himself, when you try and step into that next level in the market, we aren't just trying to go out and buy anyone. We're trying to go out and buy that next level player who is going to come in, is going to improve this side. And whenever you're trying to do that, the amount of money you're paying is going up. The wages are going up. There's more people involved. There's agents. There's clubs. There's so much going on. And as I say, if we could, behind closed doors, suddenly have it's again with we had it with Chris Wood, we had it with Pope. Suddenly something's getting announced this Wednesday or Thursday would be tremendous. I think we might struggle for this Saturday, but certainly 1 month left of the window, and we are going out and trying to do something. So one of the players we have been heavily linked with over the weekend is James Maddison. Straight away, let me know your thoughts down below. Of the players we go through today, let me know your thoughts on which one, not just would you like to see sign, but who is suiting the positions we need to strengthen, because a lot of the chat we've had over the last few weeks is strikers and wingers. Really, we need to back up Callum Wilson, if not, try and give him some competition up front. At the very least, back up that position. We saw it in the game on Friday night, and it's not just Chris Wood's fault, because I felt like generally our forward line wasn't very strong. If Chris Wood was up front with Bruno in behind and St. Max on the right, and even Richie's got a decent peg on him, maybe he would have done better, but we could clearly see on the Friday that our attacking press was just not as good as it was on the Saturday. And looking at a player like James Maddison, who can pick the ball up, can create, and as much as anything, can score goals. I think it was 20 goal contributions he had for Leicester last year. I think it was 12 goals, 8 assists, if not the other way around. That's pretty much a goal contribution every other game. I mean, it's not bad going, is it, when you talk about Callum Wilson being our top goal scorer with 8. James Maddison, yes, Callum Wilson was injured, and that is not a dig at all. We know how good Callum Wilson is when he's on the pitch. But James Maddison outscored our top goal scorer, and he is an attacking midfielder, so he's definitely something that can bring creativity, but also just numbers. It's funny, though, because we go back to the fact that we were linked with strikers and wingers. James Maddison isn't either of those. He's a man who can certainly carry the ball forward. I think what Bruno does in the middle in pulling the strings works really well. I think that Joe Linton is the battering ram. And then after that, you're looking at probably Willock. Willock is the player who would pick the ball up, would sprint into space, would move around. He's still young. I think James Maddison would play that similar position to that. He's not a Shelvey. He's more of a get the ball up into the final third and try and do something with it. But the talk is that a £40 million bid went in for him, which Leicester rejected. Brendan Rodgers has actually spoken out and said that he doesn't think that would cover his left leg. He said that'll cover just about half of his left leg. So they don't want to sell him. I think Leicester are one of very few clubs in Europe who haven't done anything this window. So if they're not going to go out and buy, they're not going to want to sell either. We've already had links with Barnes as well. I think it's that Fortuna is also being linked away this summer. They are trying to hold on to their players, and if they do let Maddison go, I think it will be for a pretty penny. The rumour is they want as much as 60 million for the guy, and don't get me wrong, he's Premier League proven, he's in and around that England squad, he knows how to score a goal. I can see why we're interested in him, but the price tag is very high. If you think back to when we were linked with Moussa Diaby, they wanted 60 million and we turned away because we decided that was too much money. So it's a funny one, because I think the further we get into the window, as we come to the end of the window, again, a month still to go, like that 60 million, it starts to look more and more favourable because we've obviously tried to be very careful this window. We spent a lot of time over the Sven Botman one because we wanted to get the right price. We weren't going to go any higher. AC Milan dropped out, so then we were the ones to get the deal done. If Leicester are really going to put their foot down and say nothing less than 60, how long does it take before we finally go, okay, we will pay it? Or if we hold out long enough, could Leicester be the one who go, actually, we will sell it to 40 because we also need the money? It's a strange one, and obviously the comparisons are coming out between James Maddison and Paquetta, a man we've been linked with all window, let's be honest, and is rumoured to be available for closer to 35 to 40 million. So then you think, if we're going to offer 40 million for James Maddison, should we not be offering 40 million for Paquetta? And there's obviously fans online who are, I wouldn't say arguing, probably some of them are arguing, but I would say that people are definitely in a conversation of, who would you rather? Would you have him or him? And I would like to see Paquetta come in. Don't get me wrong, I think James Maddison is a fantastic player, and if that's who we got, I am not going to sit in the corner and cry. I'm going to be extremely happy we brought in Premier League proven. And you look back to that January window, and yes, Bruno was that flair player that we brought in from overseas, France, but obviously he's Brazilian. But other than that, Chris Wood plays in the Premier League. Dan Burn plays in the Premier League. Target plays in the Premier League. You look, we've gone for Nick Pope, plays in the Premier League. And yes, we've gone and got Botman. But I think Eddie Howe likes to have that security of, we know what... James Maddison isn't going to have to adapt for me. He's just going to walk in and play. Maybe Eddie Howe doesn't potentially want the time it takes to bring another player in and have them adapt as well. You know, you forget that it took Bruno ages to actually get on the pitch because Eddie Howe really wanted to take his time before he got him involved. I don't think we'll play Botman this weekend. I think the back four we saw on the Friday night against Atalanta will be the back four that we play. I think it will be Burn and Shaw, and it's not to say that Botman wasn't incredible on Saturday, by the way. Both-footed, clearly a very talented player. I think he'll play the four that he knows has been there, done that first game of the season, high pressure. Burn and Shaw have been there, done that. Play the pair of them. So, yeah, the Maddison versus Paquetta one is definitely an interesting conversation, but as it stands right now, there is no links to us having placed a bid for Paquetta where there certainly is for James Maddison. So let me know your thoughts on him down below. We have also reportedly placed a second bid for the Leeds winger, Jack Harrison, another player that we have been linked with over the last few days. An initial bid went in that Leeds rejected. There is now a lot coming out saying that we have in fact placed a second bid of around 40 million for Jack Harrison, which again is big money. If we were in theory to get both Maddison and Jack Harrison for the fee of around 40 million, it's a fair bit of money. The problem with the Leeds one is very similar again, that they don't want to sell him. Leicester don't want to sell James Maddison. Leeds are not going to want to sell. Sorry, I'm looking over here. I'm just trying to confirm what the cost was. Yeah, so it was reported 40 million for Jack Harrison that Leeds have rejected again. The initial first bid, I think, was closer to 30 million. We've gone back in 10 million up, and that has been rejected again. Let me know your thoughts on Jack Harrison down below. That's going back to the winger conversation. We're linked with a whole host of wingers this summer window. Jack Harrison seems to be one that is a favourite of Eddie Howe and Dan Ashworth, as we have now, as I say, placed two separate bids. The problem with Leeds is they've already let Rafinha go. They already let Phillips go. You know, how are the Leeds fans going to feel when they now let Jack Harrison go? For me, those are probably the three best players from last season, and I know they are going out and spending the money. They are making use of the money this window. They've gone out and brought a handful of new players in with the money that they got from those deals. But I think I'll be pretty good if we sold Wilson, then sold Bruno, and then sold Joe Linton in the same window. You know, it's a lot to let go of, and I don't think they will do. I mean, every player's got their price, and I think if we go higher and higher, they will eventually say yes. But at the same time, I do also think that price tag will be very high. It will be more than probably what he's worth, and that will be down to the fact that the club aren't going to be too happy if they start selling all their best players. So let me know your thoughts on Jack Harrison down below. He is a player that I like. Again, similar to Maddison, he's a man who brings in numbers. I think he himself scored, was it 10 goals last season for Leeds? That's from a wide position. Again, beats out our top goal scorer from last season as well. So it's brilliant to see that we are linked with him. I think that's the one we're going to struggle with. I think the Harrison one, and it's not because necessarily the money. I think it's as much of the fact that, again, you sell the three best players in one window, you know. And finally, I want to talk about the man, Timo Werner, the striker from Chelsea who Well, I was going to say the manager's fell out of love with him, hasn't he? From the sounds of things, they've both been having a bit of back and forth, shall we say. Werner basically said that he was trying his best to get into the side, but that the manager, Thomas Tuchel, changes things up and it's not easy to get used to. So I feel that was a little bit of a dig at the manager there. Tuchel came back and said he's a young lad playing for one of the best teams in the Premier League. I don't know what he's got to be sad about. So a bit of heated convo there, and we have seen Werner's minutes drop over the last season. He is not the man that it seems Tuchel wants to play striker going forward. He has a list, or it seems that Tuchel has a list of about 5 or 6 players that they are in fact looking to try and move on this summer, and Timo Werner is one of those players. Now, the links with Newcastle and Chelsea appear to be loan move links, which I've got to say, you know what, loans have changed. Very much so. Loans were young players to go out and get experience. Obviously, you've got the little loan here and there, but I tell you what, this loan deal really is because people can't afford his wages. That's pretty much why it's a loan deal, to be honest, because they don't want him there. They want to save money, and he's reportedly on around 270,000 a week. That is more than double and a half what our top paid players are currently getting. Newcastle already, I just can't see any team walking in and actually offering that kind of money for someone who had you. Well, this is what Chelsea did, didn't they? They went to Red Bull Leipzig, quality player, knows how to score a goal. Clearly, we're very excited to bring him into the club. Because of that, gave him a huge paycheck. And that's the big question, isn't it? Has he not succeeded because he hasn't quite grasped the Premier League? Or has he not succeeded because of the way Chelsea play and because of the way Chelsea are playing him? Does Timo Werner have a point when he says that the manager changes things constantly and I'm struggling to keep up with that? If he came to Newcastle and we played him in the same system every week that Eddie Howe has always done, would he adapt? Would he do better than maybe he has done at Chelsea? I think if you're trying to compare striker types and the striker that Eddie Howe wants in a side, Timo Werner is that guy. I've spoke about Wilson a fair bit. The fact that he's like a robot. He can do everything. He's strong, he's quick, he's powerful, he can score. I think that's why we struggle when we play Chris Wood up front, to be honest, because he does not suit that system. Chris Wood can't chase the ball into the corners. Werner could do that. I think he's far more similar to the player of Callum Wilson. He's quick. Again, possibly not as strong, but generally he will lead the line. He will lead the high press. Chris Wood struggles to do that. So Werner is a very interesting one. Let me know your thoughts on him down below. I think when it comes to loan deals, it's very hard to go wrong, to be honest, because we bring him in. I suppose the only thing you could say that would go wrong is if we brought him in and he still didn't play very well. We're talking about a player who is a fantastic talent, came over to England, hasn't really hit the form Chelsea wanted. If he did come into us and continued to not really hit form, we're kind of back where we were of a Wilson in a Wood and a Werner in bad form. Wilson gets injured and we're looking around the changing room going, oh God, which one of them should we play? But you can't really think about that too much. I think you have to go out there and give them the chance, and should it not work, we'll just send them back again. Obviously, a big part of this is relying on the fact that Chelsea would probably have to pay more than half of his wages for us to agree to this deal. So I think if we could get him in on loan on 90, 100 grand a week and then Chelsea pay the rest of the 150, it wouldn't be bad. And you know for a fact, whether he wants to be here or not, because Eddie Howe said this already as well, he wanted permanent deals because that's a player who comes in and they have to fight for it. If you're on a loan, you can just go back. Doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't do very well. Oh, well, I'll just go back again. He has to do well, at least from now till January, because he wants to be part of till December, because he wants to be part of the German World Cup side. So he's got himself a few months to come back and show everyone what he can do. So there's no surprise that he wants to go. The question is someone going to offer up more part wages than maybe we would? So let me know your thoughts on Timo Werner down below, James Maddison down below, Jack Harrison down below. We've also talked about Paquetta in this video as well, so let me know your thoughts on him. I have talked way over how long I thought I would, so if you have enjoyed what is now a 20-minute video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe down below. If you're still watching right now, 20 minutes later, hit that subscribe button. We are posting daily Newcastle content. I've got 2 videos from the weekend, both of the pre-season friendlies. Be sure to go and check them out. We've got a very busy week as we head into our first game on Saturday, and I will be there on Saturday as well. We'll have a pre-match chat, a post-match chat, we'll have the vlog. Hit that big red button, do not miss out. Can we bring in a player before this weekend? That's the question down below. Is that too much to ask? Who knows? I'll probably come off here and something will happen. That's the hope. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.